I first met Grace Hawthorne, our speaker, in line at Apple when the first iPhone was introduced. Remember those days? iPhones, lines, you got to be a little community meeting people around you while you were waiting for this new device to come out. I next encountered Grace when I was running a lacrosse business in Marin County in the Bay Area when her son, Garrett, was an enthusiastic 5-year-old playing lacrosse for the first time. He is now graduated from Middlebury, so he's well launched. And then I encountered Grace another time at the MillValley Tennis Club, which makes me laugh because so many OAC relationships carry over to the MillValley Tennis Club. Grace is an entrepreneur, artist, author, and educator who's spent her career at the intersection of creativity, design, and business. She's an adjunct professor at Stanford's D.school, where she teaches courses on creativity, failure, and the power of making. For those who don't know, the D.school, formerly the Hasso-Plattner Institute of Design at Stanford, is a hub for design thinking and interdisciplinary creativity. Grace is the co-founder of ReadyMade magazine, an award-winning publication that helped spark the maker movement, and the founder of Paper Punk, a line of creativity tools and toys described as the love child of Lego and origami. Her research on creative capacity building has been featured in Scientific American, Wired, and Fast Company, and continues to inspire audiences with her belief that creativity is not just talent, but a skill that can be cultivated. Her class at the D.school is arguably one of the most popular classes offered at Stanford. Please join me in welcoming Grace Hawthorne.
Hi, you guys. Can everybody hear me okay? Yeah. Anyways, it is a great honor to be here and to be able to speak to you. I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person. I'm actually calling in from Stanford because I teach in an hour and 20 minutes. So in any case, really thrilled. I've been a resident of MillValley for 25 years. My son learned how to play tennis at the tennis club. I served on the art commission. I coached Wolfpack lacrosse for my daughter's team for several years. And I will say that my love affair with MillValley started when I was an undergrad at Berkeley. I would drive and study at the depot. And I camped out at Mount Tam. And I said, one day I am going to live in MillValley. And here I am. So in any case, I'm going to get started. I'm going to share my screen. I am here to share with you kind of my midlife report-ish, which has been dedicated to basically cultivating human creativity in analog activities. And I'm doing that through my new book, Make Possibilities Happen. This book is one of 10 design guides recently published by Stanford. I encourage you guys to check them all out. I especially encourage you to pick up my book. If I were there in person, we would have book passage outside the door to have you guys purchase them after I presented, but I'm not there. So I will share a link at the end of my presentation, and hopefully we can circulate that after the fact. What I want to point out, since you guys don't have the book in front of you, is the backside of the book. So I had my design crush, John Maeda. He was at RISD. He was at many VCs. He's currently the VP of AI at Microsoft. That little frame thing, all I want to do is, think up really cool things, make up, create new things, and think about them. I've had that in my office since 2007. Any case, he's like OG design kind of guy. And I asked him to blurb my book, and I was so happy and honored that he said yes. So the last sentence, Stanford left out the highlighted blue text. And I'm pointing that out because I think that's really important. They left it out because one, kind of places the book in time, and the content is in fact timeless. And two, it kind of didn't really fit. So Make Possibilities Happen is its 10-speed bicycle workout for the mind that humanity needs right now. And what John wanted to also say is as AI pushes humanity to its limits. And I think that's he's really prescient because obviously I wrote this book during COVID. This was before kind of this, I don't want to say gold rush, but inflection point in time. We're talking about, I mean, this inflection point is 100x the inflection points of the automobile, of the printing press, of television, of the internet. You name it, it's kind of that big of a deal. So more than ever, we need to kind of take possession and acknowledge that between our two ears is like 3.5 pounds of gray matter that has limitless capacity, and that capacity is your creative capacity. So as human beings, we are way more powerful than AI. And so, in my book, I take 17 years of teaching at Stanford, 25 years of being an entrepreneur, 10 years of scientific research, which we're going to share with you in a minute, and I distilled it to 144 pages. So a little bit context about the D.school. This place is really special to me. It's a place that's interdisciplinary. So it's the design hub of Stanford. So I mainly teach grad students, but there's people from law, from business, from engineering, from literature, from rhetoric. I mean, it doesn't matter what area of study that they come from, and they come here to amplify and expand their way of working. At the D.school, we teach this methodology called design thinking. It's been around since the 50s and 60s. Stanford did not invent it by any stretch of the imagination. I have just one slide that kind of describes what it is, and I think it's important just to contextualize what it is, because I think when there's something new, generally, you're either curious, like, oh my God, what is that? Or you're afraid of it, like, I don't know what that is. Like, that doesn't make any sense, right? So maybe a combination of the two. And I remember when I first arrived at Stanford in 2008, I was like, oh my God, these people are so smart. I don't know what they do. Like I was kind of intimidated. But then when we kind of got into what they were doing, I was like, wait a second. I do that. I do that. I do that. So my point to all of us is we are all creators. We all already exercise and practice design thinking. I think when there is a named methodology and it's broken down into components and they're assigned like names, it's a way to kind of give it or share it or kind of hand it down to somebody. So very quickly, design thinking is just a process of innovation. So when people think of design school, they think of something with the matter of aesthetics, like Adobe Creative Suite or graphic design. That's not what we're talking about. Design is a methodology for innovation. It's about problem solving. And when you think about it, how many problems do you solve every day? Probably at least 100, right? And I think proof is in the pudding that just because you know how to do something doesn't mean that you can do it well. So for example, if we all had this wonderful banana bread recipe, I don't like to clean pots, so I try to use as few utensils and pots as possible when I cook. 2 cups of flour, 3/4 cup of sugar, 4 bananas, blah, 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 1 pot. If we all had that recipe, I sent us to our respective kitchens, we came back to the room, and we had a banana bread taste testing throwdown. Do you think all our banana breads would taste the same? The answer is no. But why not? We put in all the same ingredients, right? Well, you know, Susie probably nuked her butter and she overcooked it. I put it in the wrong order. Somebody didn't put enough bananas. I mean, somebody didn't stir enough. Somebody stirred it too much. Those are the nuances, right? Think about something you do really, really well. It's the nuances that matter, right? So in any case, I created this course called Creative Gym. It's one of the 2 longest running courses at Stanford, and this is about the nuances. This course is about your personal skill set. And what I'm going to do today in the next 35 minutes is share with you I'm going to basically distill my 10-week course that I'm actually teaching in, in an hour and a half, and I'm bringing it to you in MillValley with the framework of the book. So imagine Iron Chef, for those of you who watch Food Network, but instead with office supplies. It's going to be a little chaotic. You're probably going to be like, what is she making us do? But I promise you, I'll bring it all together at the end. I want to just share really quickly, I'm not going to spend too much time on this, that I know our experience in the next 30 minutes will in fact rewire your brain, or at least start to. It's going to create new neural correlates. And how I know this is meet Dr. Daniel Hong, one of my students 8 years ago, more than 8 years ago, probably 10 years ago. He was a brain surgeon visiting from Taiwan in my class, and he said, Grace, is my brain different? After 10 weeks at the end of the quarter. And I looked at him and I'm like, of course, Dr. Hong, you're different. Like, we just spent 10 amazing weeks together. You did all this great stuff. And he's like, no, Grace, is my brain different? And I looked at him and I said, Daniel, you're the brain surgeon, not me. But that simple inquiry launched, it was out of pure curiosity, launched a 10-year study, almost 10-year, decade-long study that Susie just mentioned or referenced about creativity. And I know you weren't thinking that you're going to look at like diagrams of the brain, and I'm not going to talk about this, but all you need to know is that it was the first longitudinal study of its kind. People either underwent an abbreviated version of Creative Gym, or they did, the placebo group was Mandarin letter tracing. It feels creative, you're kind of doing something, but you're not. And if you were a participant in the study, you would have to sit in an fMRI machine 5 times. And you're thinking, what crazy people wanted to do that? People who wanted x-rays of their brain, like that we gave to them as a gift. But long story short, we proved at the end of the study that after undergoing an abbreviated version of Creative Gym, that your brain can in fact be altered. There were 2 questions. 1, can you teach creativity? The answer is yes. Creativity isn't something that you're preordained with. Yes, you are maybe predisposed to have a certain level of creativity, but let's say you were born with a higher level of creativity and I had a lower level of creativity. If you do nothing and I exercise my creativity, I can expand my creative capacity. So imagine, I think the way to look at this is your brain as a muscle. So imagine if I had a 6-pack, which I don't, but I mean, just to have good posture, you need a strong core, right? So let's say I achieved a super strong core. And now that I have that, if all I did was sit back and binge Netflix and eat potato chips, and I stopped doing my core exercises, would I maintain that 6-pack? The answer is no. And that's the same for your brain. The second question we asked was, is creativity acquired knowledge? Like, hey, once you know how to ride a bicycle, you forever know how to ride a bicycle. Answer is no, it is not. Again, it's something that you have to keep conditioning to A, maintain, or B, expand. So, I mean, that's amazing, right? Like, I have limitless creative capacity. My ability to be creative is limitless, and it's just based on what effort I put into it. At the D.school, the back of the napkin, when they founded 20 years ago, they said, we're not going to focus on innovations. We're going to focus on innovators, because giving somebody a solution isn't the way to create impact. We're going to transform people, because in each person, each student I have, there are infinite number of solutions, right, and innovations in them. So I want to take that same trick, and let's throw for the moment the word creativity out the window, because it's not about this creativity. I want to focus and turn the word on you. You are a creator. We are all creators, large and small, every day, 100 times over, okay? And we need to take possession of that, especially in this age of AI. And I think a good framework is think back, close your eyes and think back for one moment what it was like when you first got your driver's license when you turned 16. I know I grew up in SoCal. Man, if you didn't have a car, you were going nowhere fast, meaning like you couldn't get anywhere because it was a heavy driving culture. And imagine, like, you didn't have any money for gas. You didn't know where you were going. You didn't know how to get from A to B. This is like pre-Google Maps, right? But it didn't matter. You were so excited about all the adventures that were going to happen that were ahead of you. And I want you to take control of that same mindset, because with technology, with AI, you guys, we are in the driver's seat. You get to control how much creativity you have. That there's no way technology is going to ever replace the human mind. So let's focus on that and get that in order. There are three, I said, 45 years and 144 pages in my book, Make Possibilities Happen. I'm going to distill that down to 3 bullet points. First one is personal agency. That means I choose. I am in the driver's seat. Bias to action. I'm a big bias to action person. You can ask my kids. It's like, don't talk about it. Go do it. Take action. All those things that are like, you're like, I'm going to do this. Oh, wouldn't it be great? It's like, well, do you know why it may not be happening? If it's not, it's because you're not doing anything about it. And then cognitive flexibility, right? How nimble are you mentally and emotionally? Those are the 3 bullet points that we're going to kind of experience with a few hands-on activities. So the first part of my framework, there's 4 frameworks. So see, start, do, and finish. This is a page from my book, Curiosity is Your Trusty Compass. I like to point this out because curiosity has no ego. So if you're ever in a situation, a fight with your partner, a disagreement with your business partner, tension with your kids, something that makes you feel uncomfortable, put on your curiosity hat, and I promise you, it'll get you to the right place at the right time and with the right emotion in your heart. It has no ego. So I think we all take seeing for granted. We walk around every day. You're like, yeah, the sky's blue. It's a sunny day. Okay, let's park that for a minute. I think you have 2 eyeballs, right? But when you look at the screen, do you see 2 screens? No, like physiologically, your brain has 2 different images. It's combining the 2 and filling in the holes with what you know. And is what you know the same as what the person next to you knows? Is it the same as what I know? Absolutely not. Which points to the fact that every time we see something, we're processing it, obviously, to make sense, right? And we're kind of putting a judgment, like the sense making in some way, and part and parcel is a little judgment because we're trying to make sense of the world. But what that really does, our bias, what we know, what we've experienced our lifetime, that context that keeps us safe is also a barrier to our expansion and our ability to kind of see possibilities. And we're going to practice that right now. So here's an image. I want you guys to think like, what is this image? And if I were in the room, I'd be like, yell out what you think it is if you don't already know. People would say, oh, it's a bird bath. It's a planter. It's a urinal. It's a bunch of different things, right? It's actually none of those things. It could be all those things, but it's not. This particular image is a piece of art. It is by Marcel Duchamp. He was one of the most influential 20th century artists. He took a urinal from the dump. He brought it into his studio. He turned it upside down, signed our mutt, put it on a pedestal, stuck it in a gallery, and said, "This is art." People were pissed. They're like, "What are you talking about? This is not art." Can I tell you something? Marcel Duchamp, this art personifies possibility. And let me drive this concept home a little bit with this example. How many of you have not seen Little Mermaid? I feel like 99% of us probably have. Little Mermaid, Ariel, she's swimming in the bottom of the ocean. She encounters a sunken ship. She finds a fork. She picks up the fork, and if you and I found a fork, we'd be like, oh, an eating utensil, because that's what I use that for. But Ariel, she takes the fork. She doesn't eat food. I have no idea what mermaids eat. She starts brushing her hair. To her, she's like, oh, I can brush my hair, right? So to her, a fork isn't an eating utensil. Why couldn't it be like a hair comb? And if I asked you, what else could it be? Right? I mean, I'd have you guys yell out to me. I'd be in the class, like in your room. Somebody would say back scratcher. Somebody would say a planter rake. Somebody would say, a balloon popper. I mean, whatever. Like, what can a fork do if it's not bringing noodles to your mouth, right? So many things. So that's just proof that when we see a fork, what we see is what we know. And that is keeping us from all the awesome things a fork could do for you in your life. If you just take that example and apply that to anything, I promise you, you'll be like, oh my goodness, yes. And that's just an easy way to simply say, hold on to what you know lightly. I know we want to make sense, we want to feel safe, but honestly, like, you guys, the less tightly we hold on to the definition of things, the meaning of things, the wider and the bigger and more expansive your view in your life will be. So I want you guys, we're going to do an activity. Since I can't see you, I'm going to need the aid of Deborah and everybody and Susie to help me do this. So I want you guys to get your piece of white cardstock and your Sharpie out. Okay, so pretend this is your cardstock. I don't know if you can see me, but your cardstock should be in front of you. And then I want you to open your pen. I want you to pair up. Turn to somebody next to you, pair up. If there's uneven numbers, you can do that in odd numbers and threes. Good to know. Okay, so I'm going to give you about 30 seconds. When I say go, I'm not saying go yet, so wait till I say go. Your pen is going to hit your paper. There's two rules. One, your eyes stay locked on your partner's face, okay? You cannot look at your paper. Second rule, your pen stays on the paper the entire time. You do not lift your pen. And I'll tell you, we can spot pen lifters when the exercise is over from a mile away. So again, reminder, eyes on partner, pen on paper the whole time, which means you're not looking down and you're not lifting your pen. I'm giving you 30 seconds. You're drawing your partner. This is a blind contour portrait. If there are odd numbers, you can do it three-way. Ready? Begin. Start drawing. Pens on paper, eyes on partner. You have 15 seconds left. Keep drawing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens up. Take a look at what you did. I can't hear. Are people sharing their drawings? It'd be really cool if Susie or somebody could.
What Grace has to say now?
Pardon?
Go ahead, Grace.
Okay. Did everybody finish their drawing? How does it look? Did it look kind of like what's on the screen? Yes or no?
Ask that question again, please.
Pardon?
Grace, ask the question again.
Is everyone done with their portrait, and does it resemble kind of the picture that's on the screen right now.
Can I say raise the hands of how many people have good representation?
Okay,
Raise
so
like 10.
yeah, okay, so I mean, if I took all of your drawings and lined them up and put them in a frame and signed Picasso on all of them, I could have a pretty darn good art show. That's probably how they turned out. They're amazing. They're fun. They're surprising. Usually people feel uncomfortable because they couldn't look down at their paper. They felt rushed because they just had to begin. But what you did in that 30 seconds is we are training you to have a bias to action. We're training you to bypass your brain. If I said, draw your partner, and you get to look at your paper and look up and down, your drawing would be much different. Yes? Right? But here we're going directly from eye to hand, and that's intentional, to bypass your brain. We're trying to bypass your bias. This is from our C section, and sometimes we do a negative space drawing where we turn it upside down. That's really interesting. But this is a great way to kind of get your feet wet and show what it's like when you don't think about and impose what you think on what you're trying to do in terms of seeing. And another way to point out kind of how important our context is this gradient illusion concept. So in this, consider this a donut. It's a rectangular donut, and the donut hole, it looks like it's kind of a gradient illusion, right? Like it goes from a soft gray to a darker gray. But what if I told you that donut hole is actually a solid color gray? Would you believe me? Probably not, because I'm looking at this. This looks like there's 2 shades of gray. But here, let me show you. Okay, I just covered the top and the bottom. The middle is, in fact, the same color gray. And the reason why it looks like it's 2 colors or different colors of gray is because on the left side, it's surrounded by a darker color, and on the right side, it's surrounded by a lighter color, right? So again, our context is our bias. What we see is not really, it's just what we perceive. It's not maybe really what it is. And I think that's something that's really important when you're communicating with people, but more importantly, as you go through life and you want to expand your possibilities. Be mindful of your bias and your context, and context is important, right? If you see something in an isolated manner, right? I mean, this could be politics. This could be who should do the dishes and why. I mean, you know, the donut could be anything. And what the solution or the innovation or the outcome is, you know, ideal, optimal outcome is actually possibly, there's probably more than one gray shade of solid gray, but you get my point. Moving on, starting is, to me, the hardest thing for most people, and mainly because we fear judgment, we fear failure. And I mean, when do we get over ourselves? I told myself when I turned 40, like, I'm not going to care what anybody thinks anymore. I did it for, I don't know, a year or two. And I mean, it's human nature. Like, we all want to be loved. We all want to be liked. We want approval, to feel acceptance, right? But I'm telling you, like, the longer, or like the sooner, I should say, we let go of that, the more of ourselves we become, okay? And that's a beautiful thing. I think this is going to be a really hard activity to do without being in the room. So I'm going to bypass this. I'm happy to come in at another time when I'm in town, when you guys have another meeting to run this, because it is so fun and so hilarious. And you see the post-it, get over yourself. This is about failure. You would get into pairs and you'd say 1, 2, 3, alternating, and then we replace one with a clap, etc. And people make mistakes because you're supposed to go as fast as you can. And when we make mistakes, we put our head down, we throw our head back, we take a step away. And then what we are trying to do with this activity is normalize failure. So by the end of the activity, everybody, if you or your partner makes a mistake, we all throw our hands up and we go, yay, together. And it's just this light-hearted thing about creating a culture where failure isn't a negative thing. Failure is your internal compass telling you that you need to make a little adjustment. Okay, that's it. It's a good thing. And I'll tell you, if you haven't failed a lot, that means you're not pushing yourself outside your comfort zone. Fact. I love this ambigram. This is created by John Maeda, that OG design hero who blurbed my book. This one, he commissioned a designer to do. Okay, an ambigram is something where you flip it and like 69, it's still 69 when you flip it upside down. So he commissioned somebody to do this. Obviously, this is kind of like a faux ambigram, but adversity, flip side is resilience. And I'm telling you, if you, again, have not failed, you're not going to have any resilience. Resilience only comes from adversity. Okay, only comes from adversity. There's a lot of things I could add on to that, but I'm not going to. We're going to move on to the next activity. Again, this is going to be hard, but let's try this. Everyone grab their lunch sack from the middle of the table. I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds, okay? And using only your hands, use as much or as little of that bag as possible. I want you to transform that bag to express the word hunger. Okay? So with the paper bag, hold it up, have everyone hold it up so we know that they're ready. They have their paper bag and they hold it up. Let me know. Susie, if you just hold up your hand to your face like this, I can see that that means that they're ready. So let me know when everybody has their paper bag above their head. Okay, we're going to give them 30 seconds once everyone's ready. When I say go, only when I say go, you're going to transform that bag to express the word hunger. Okay, let me know when people are ready. You can do a thumbs up too. I can see like the top of your head, Susie. Yes? Are they ready?
Great, I think we're ready.
Okay, great. Okay, so in the next 30 seconds, with only using your hands, as little as much of the bag you'd like, transform that bag to express the word hunger. Go.
I think they did that phrase already.
15 seconds. They're done with the task.
I think
Yes.
they're super smart.
Okay.
Oh, they're super hungry.
Or super hungry. Okay, I want everybody to hold up what they did with their bag. Is there any way you can show me the audience? This is, I'm realizing that I need to see the audience in order to facilitate stuff like this. I'm doing it in a vacuum. Can you just turn around? That would be 1000% helpful. So hold up, everyone hold up what they made and look around, you guys. Look around. Some people may have blown up their bag and it's empty. Some people may have twisted their bag so it's super tight, because having a tight stomach is a hunger pang, right? And look around, you guys. There's some things that are similar. There's some things that look different. There's a couple things that are happening when we do this activity. 1, rapid prototyping. 2, bias to action. But really, this is a warm-up for a session that I'm actually going to run today in communicating that is about sense and essence. So we talk about like, what is the essence of hunger, right? If I divided the room in half and said half of you do hunger and half of you do the word tension, you wouldn't even you would not be able to tell who did what word because those words would do the same. Somebody would ultimately have a crushed ball on the hunger side, and somebody would have a crushed ball on the tension side. And that just, again, illuminates this concept of context, personal context, communication, etc. So I picked the word tension specifically because it points to this concept of failure that we didn't get to actually play around with. A kite cannot fly at its zenith without the wind resisting against it. How many of you have ever been to the park when it's sort of a breezy day and you're running to pull the kite to create wind resistance, hoping the kite will fly? Now, compare that to going to the Berkeley Marina, and holding like a kite and feeling like you're going to be pulled into the sky, right? So in order for us to reach our zenith, meaning our optimal best self, you need to have the wind resistance. You need that tension. You need those failures. That's what we're talking about. And again, tension isn't something, the natural instinct is to step back or to lean back. Like, I don't want any trouble. I don't want to feel uncomfortable. But honestly, in those moments, those are learning opportunities for ourselves. And that's when we should be taking a step in or standing tall and observing it and not pulling back. Remember, resilience, adversity and resilience. I'm telling you, if we're going to fly at our zenith, we make failure and tension our friend. Doing is the third framework in my book. When there is a will, there is a way. And I know we all have stories that can prove that. It's all about the execution, right? Don't talk about it, be about it. I think the perfect example, and I talk about this in my book, is Tom Hanks' movie Big. When I was in graduate film school down at UCLA, I just remember the head of William Morris, Arnold Rifkin, he was a character. He was giving us an example like, ideas are a dime a dozen. They don't mean squat. It's about how you execute it. And in the movie industry, you'd have a log line. Like I used to read scripts, right, as one of my internships. And I would read like hundreds of scripts. And there's always, it starts with like a sentence and then like a paragraph summary. Log line, a boy wakes up as an adult, an adult body. But can you imagine, like, there's infinite number of executions of that log line, right? A script is 120 pages, a movie is about 90 minutes typically. So many pieces and like fragments go into making that movie. So many people, which is kind of interesting too. And that outcome could mean so many things. And so who cares about the idea? People are like, oh, I don't want to share my idea. You might steal it. That's like total BS. Like that's kind of a pet peeve of mine from grad school when I was working with screenwriters and even with like students who are like, I can't share my idea. It's like, no, you should share your idea. You want people to give you feedback and whatnot. So we're going to do something else. Everyone take their piece of black construction paper, put it in your hand, hold it up in the air. Okay, so let me explain what we're going to do. I'm going to give you 15 to 20 seconds. When I say go, you may start. When I say stop, please stop. And when you stop, you're going to hold it above your head. Okay? What you're going to do is using only your hands, transform this piece of paper into something that covers your face, but still allows you to see, that's hands-free. Okay? So you're transforming that piece of paper into a mask that covers as much of your face as possible, but still allows you to see and is hands-free, meaning you don't need your hands to keep it on your face. Okay, I'm going to give you 30 seconds. When you are finished, you do not wear it. You hold it in the air. I need some room assistance to know when people are done. I will tell you, everyone has their piece of paper, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, begin. 15 seconds left. Five, four, three, two, and one. Masks in the air, above your head. Okay? I don't care if you're done. Put it above your head. Everyone have it above their head, Susie?
Yes.
Okay. So now I want you, with your mask, pass it to the right, then put it on. Okay? Okay? So, what's happening? I bet you when you were making your mask, those of you who had eyeglasses made it so it hung on your eyeglasses, but if you passed it to the person to your right who didn't have eyewear, they had no idea how to put it on. Or some of you maybe put a hole in your nose. So somebody's got to get a picture of this, you guys. Can you guys keep your masks on? Oh yeah, I love the kind of rest on your head, fold over. That's a good solution. Did anybody do the fold and bite version where they like did this and they put it in their teeth? I know that's hard to pass along. If any of you put a hole in and hung it on your nose and passed it to me, I'm telling you that thing would slide right off. Or if you did hook it behind your ears, I have a very wide face and you pass it to me, there's no way I could keep that on my face. So this was an activity in rapid prototyping and materiality, but most importantly, the biggest takeaway here is when you solve a problem, it is not for you. When you're designing something, it is not for you. And that is right? Because when we design it for ourselves, what are we doing? Like what I need, my ears, this is one use case, right? If I design a mask for my face, it's one use case. We're designing a mask with those 3 parameters that need to solve, right? Like who are we solving for? It's not for you. And I think that's the perfect segue to our next activity. So we did all the activities except for the failure one, but that's okay. I would love to do that with you guys, and I could do another one that's super fun also because it's really energetic. But right now we're gonna suspend our kind of what we know. You guys, we are all in this class called Extreme Affordability at Stanford. It's the 2nd longest running class along with Creative Gym. We are a team, all of us. This entire room, we are a team. We are a multidisciplinary team. All of us have different areas of expertise. We have some MBAs, we have some engineers, we have some law students, we have some med students, whatever, right? Okay, we're a team. We are assigned a client. Our client is out in the developing world. So we're a team. We're like, all right, here is our client. We go on site. This is what we see. And my question to us is, where are we? What are these people doing? Right? We're observing. I'm sorry, again, I'm not there in person. It's a lot harder because we would be having this interaction and we'd be like, okay, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Right? There's a bunch of people, they're like waiting in line. Is this the DMV? Like, is this a school? Is it a hospital? What is this? Question mark. Okay, we're in India. They're overwhelmed by their population, right? There's illiteracy. There's a lack of education. There are too few health providers. So you have one doctor and you have too many patients, right? And kind of when you go in to get treated or if you go and have a baby, the readmission rate and the complication rate is above 50%, which is astonishing. It's so huge. And it's too much demand, not enough like providers. So that's our client. What are we going to do for them? How are we going to solve this problem? We're at this hospital. There's one doctor to 100 patients. How do we help them? Think about it. Are we creating a new queuing system for the patients? Are we creating a new scheduling model? Are we going to try to train up the nurses? Are we going to import doctors? I mean, what are we doing? They're like, this is literally like people, provider. We have a problem. So what do? We're like, that's what they're asking for. And our initial POV of what we're saw, developing world doctor needs more efficient queuing. I'm just picking one out of the blue, and patient intake process so the doctors can see more patients in the limited time they have. Okay, that's like maybe the lowest hanging solution. Like, okay, how do we get as many patients through the single doctor or the few doctors we have? So we go into the field, and this is what we see. We see people sitting on the floor, waiting in line. They are there all the time. They are sleeping overnight. Like that top picture is 24/7, right? There's your singular doctor. I mean, obviously they have more than one, but again, 100 to 1, let's just say. And then there's the ward. Like there's just multiple people, like they're waiting or being treated, right? And there's an unexpected observer. Like we interview the doctor, we interview the patients, we interview the security guard who is there 24/7. And we recognize, or he observes, or he leads us to this kind of observation that if you look in the bottom right image, all those people sitting on the bed aren't patients, right? All the people sitting in the hallway aren't patients. They are family members who have traveled for weeks to help their family member see the doctor. They're waiting with their family member to see the doctor. They're waiting for their family member to have treatment so they can take them home. So we create a new POV. This is an amazing solution. Okay, we can't clone doctors, right? There's no money. We can't reduce the number of patients. So how do we help increase the care? Well, who's in charge of the patient? Who spends the most time with the patient? The family members. So we recast our POV that we're solving for. A patient's family members need to learn how to care for their loved ones post-treatment to reduce medical complications and readmissions. That, my friends, is Nora Health. This is a company that came out of the class, Extreme Affordability. That top photo is a nurse educating a ward of family members for postpartum care. And when you see the statistics that how many caregivers they were able to train up and just educate, we're talking about a sitting duck resource that was basically deployed merely by sharing information. That simple. That existing caregivers literally training patients' families. And as you can see that the statistics, the readmissions, the postpartum complications, everything literally halved, at least, if not more. And that to me is amazing. They've actually been in the news a lot recently. I promised you we talk about failure, and this is kind of the tail end. So you want to fail early and fail often. Pretend you are my boss. I work for you. We have a 10-month project. And you're like, Grace, I want you to do A, B, C, D. I go, oh, got it. Okay. I go away and I come back at month 8 and be like, look, this is how it's going. This is what it looks like. What do you think? If the x-axis, which is the horizontal line on the bottom, is time, right? So you start at 0 to 10. And then let's just say the y-axis is the outcome. We start from 0, and let's say the optimum outcome is on the top of the y-axis. If I show up in month 8, which is like 3/4 of the way, and say, what do you think? You're going to give me some feedback. I'm going to improve it a little bit, and I might land at 20 or 30 out of 100. But imagine if instead I came to you at month 2, month 5, month 7, month 9. I came to you 4 different times. So at 25%, I bump up 20%. Month 5, halfway mark of the timeline, I bump up another 30%. So I'm at 50% of the optimal outcome. Do you get my point? Every time I come to you and we collaborate and you give me feedback, that's adjustment. That is, you don't say, Grace, that's perfect. Goodbye. Go on your way. You're like, oh, no, I think this needs adjustment. This needs adjustment. Again, adjustments, right? Fail early, fail often. Low stakes. That 1, 2, 3 clap we didn't do, that just low stakes. The more comfortable we get with tension and the more comfortable we can get with failure, the farther we can kind of progress to our optimal outcome. And I know that's antithetical and physically not what our instincts tell us to do, right? To step into tension, to step into something. And again, failure is not a negative thing. And that's something that we celebrate here at the D.school, and something that we want our students to take into company and corporate culture, because that's just not the norm, right? And I think more people who embrace this, the better. Last part is finish. I don't know. It feels a little tricky, but there really is no finish when it comes to possibilities. There's no finish to developing and growing as a human being. We think balance is a place to seek, right? Like, I need to find balance. Like this, it's like a moment, it's like a destination where you're going to land and you're going to be like, here I am, I'm at balance. But if you actually look at either a guy on a surfboard surfing a wave, or a tightrope walker who's walking across with his balance beam, he looks like he's standing still, but he's not. His core, all his muscles are firing. He is in constant motion, just like a surfer is in constant motion when he's riding that wave. They're balanced, but balance takes action, okay? And if you're not growing, you're dying. And I mean, we don't find ourselves, we become ourselves. And that only happens when you do things, when you lean into tension, when you embrace failure, when you let go of your biases, all those great things. Last but not least, for all your mamas out there, what is a worry? Stop worrying. Your thoughts are energy. They are magnets. So whatever thought you have, if it's a worry, you're going to attract that to you. So I actually tell my mom, who's a huge worrywart, please don't think about me at all. I know she does it out of love, but man, a worry is a future negative event that hasn't happened. Why would we give any energy to that, right? So that blue tuning fork on the left, if that's a worry, you're ringing other worries in to you and around you. Don't do that, okay? That blue tuning fork should not be a worry. It should be what you want to have happen. And I know that sounds a little woo-woo, but I'm showing it to you in a scientific way to kind of drive it home. Even Albert Einstein, who I don't think anybody would call him woo-woo, said everything in life is a vibration. Everything in life is energy. So at every moment, we are choosing what we think. We are choosing how we behave and how we respond to the world and to other people. That's you in the driver's seat. That's your personal agency. And if you take action, right, that's the That's the bias to action. And you know when you are doing something little or doing something big, or you need a pivot because, whoa, my compass is telling me to go right a little bit. Okay, I'm going to go right. That's the cognitive flexibility. So driver's seat, just start, fail early, fail often, and go on and make something amazing happen. That's a QR code for my book. I would love it if you guys bought a copy for a gift for yourself and left a 5-star review so other people will be encouraged to buy it as well. And that's all I have for you. That is my email and that is my website. Feel free to email me if you have any questions or if you need anything. Anyways, I'm going to sign off. Thank you, everybody. If you have questions, feel free to email me. I'm happy to answer them. Again, I look forward to seeing you guys in person one day soon. And if you please buy the book, and thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share the last 50 years of my life.